The Franks in Jerusalem put their faith in an extraordinary weapon. A fragment of wood on which they believed Christ was crucified. To medieval Christians, the true cross was imbued with great power. They had taken it into battle more than 20 times and won. Heartened by the presence of the true cross, the Knights of the Kingdom of Jerusalem marched out to face Saladin. This was exactly what Saladin had hoped for. Luring the Franks away from the safety of Jerusalem's walls, he drew them 20 miles into the barren hills of Hattin. Here, he had poisoned the few sources of fresh water. Saladin had them trapped. Now, at Hattin, he would confirm his authority amongst the other Arab leaders by unleashing his great Islamic army on the Franks. He ordered his troops to attack and torch the Crusader camp. Thousands of Christian knights were slaughtered. At Hattin, Saladin destroyed the bulk of the Franks' army. The true cross was also his. But Saladin did not destroy the Christians' great religious symbol.
To Saladin personally, the true cross was a worthless piece of wood. As a Muslim, he believed that Christ was a prophet, but he did not believe that he was the Son of God, and therefore he could not attach the same spiritual significance as the Christians did to this object. Saladin was aware, however, that the Christians were highly, highly attached to the true cross, and if he was going to surrender it, he would want something very, very worthwhile in return.
The true cross might prove useful to Saladin, but the jihad was not yet over. Jerusalem was still in Christian hands. It took 2 months for news to reach Europe from the Holy Land. Word of Saladin's victory at Hattin brought an increasing sense of unease to Richard of England. He knew the road to Jerusalem would now be wide open for Saladin. The holy city could fall, and he would not know about it until it was too late. Richard's worst nightmare was about to come true. Just weeks after his victory at Hattin, Saladin reached Jerusalem. His defining moment as a holy warrior had come.
Saladin wanted Jerusalem, not just because of the importance of the city to Islam. The message of the First Crusaders had been, liberate Jerusalem from the barbaric Muslims. Saladin wanted to neutralize that message.
Jerusalem, was at Saladin's mercy. As liberator of Jerusalem, Saladin guaranteed his place in history. But it was his treatment of the Christian population that would make him a legend. Saladin decided not to cleanse Jerusalem with Christian blood. He preferred rose water. Muslim soldiers turned their energies to purifying the holy places. On Saladin's orders, the Christian descendants of the First Crusaders were allowed to live.
Saladin softened the sharp calls for revenge. After capturing the city, he said, nobody will be killed. He banned the killing.
Saladin aimed to show that Islam was militarily and morally superior to the Christian faith.
Saladin decided to teach the Crusaders a lesson. That was that when you conquer a city, you show mercy and you show the values of your faith as being superior to those of the enemy. And that was the lesson of Jerusalem in 1187.
For the first time in 88 years, Muslims could pray in Jerusalem.
There is nothing comparable with the restoration of an occupied homeland and achieving victory. Jerusalem is the sister of Mecca and Medina. So being a Muslim and an Arab, a lot of passions accumulate. Saladin had a feeling of unlimited exaltation, and he became then the main leader in the Islamic world.
Saladin had achieved his goal. The Middle East was finally united under his leadership, and he would be forever known as Islam's greatest holy warrior. But he did not anticipate the storm that would be unleashed when Richard of England heard the holy city was back in Muslim hands. The loss of Jerusalem was a disaster.